Here we are, and guess what? We have tweaked this community live stream and all live streams moving forward with some fancy new tools on our side to make the transition a little bit smoother for you guys watching when we go to Unity. Yeah, Unity and back again, and the game and back again, and us just, full face talking about all sorts of cool stuff. Star, this is my favorite time of the year. This is the time where we celebrate holidays.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's your favorite time because I grow a mustache.
Not the favorite time of the year for me, no.
Okay.
Although I know you have fans in the community. So we're giving away gifts with family. We're giving away gifts today on the live stream, actually. Well, we call them prizes. We have, let me run through those real quick. Ornate Sled, Ice Nightmare Mask, very cool and crisp looking at night. 2017, only the 2017 version. Yule Card 5-pack if you want to give a nice happy holidays to anybody in the game. And a Twitter prize for all you Twitter fans out there, a 2017 Yule gift set, which includes the card pack, the gift boxes that Scotty designed. Well, Scotty designed all these. They're amazing. We had Scotty on last show, and I promised our viewers that we would give away some of that stuff that was coming up today.
Excellent.
And the stockings in that gift pack. And I'm sure we'll give away some more of these goodies in the next couple of live streams. But for now, this is our regular Friday community live stream. We have these almost every Friday for all you new players and viewers that are just joining us. My name is Barrett, community manager here at Portalarium. And I have with me the executive producer who has all the things, news coming up, what we've been covering recently, and everything that has gone into release 48 that we just put live.
See, that's when we need the little soundboard.
Yeah, we need a little sound effects.
News,
That's what we're missing.
It's kind of like I need a big stack of paper, not just like little.
You know who does that kind of?
I could stack it.
You know who does that well? NBN has some really cool sound effects. We need to borrow those.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure they loved it when I stacked that. That probably sounded great. On there.
In fact, let me check the chat while you go through some.
All right. So as Barrick mentioned, my name is Star Long, also known as Dark Star. I'm the executive producer for the project, and welcome to our live stream. And so yesterday we had something happen that affected a lot of our users.
So some of them,
maybe all of them, in fact. It was the release of our 48th monthly release. So that is 48 releases in a row. Wow. So very proud of my team, amazing team I have here, that they are able to do this 48 months in a row on time, every Thursday. This time, though, it wasn't at the end of the month. It was the middle of the month, and that's because it is November. And even though I'm kind of a Scrooge, I'm not really a Scrooge all the time. So I let the team have holidays. So I let them have Thanksgiving and Christmas, at least little bits of those. And so they get a little bit of time off at the end of November and a little bit of time off at the end of December. So we have our November and December releases at the middle of the month, not the end. So that's why these releases come a little bit early. Those of you who are maybe a little surprised when all of a sudden patches started happening yesterday. So welcome to release 48. It is chock full of stuff. I told my team I was a little bit disappointed in them because even though it was a short release, they got this, a ton of work done in the short amount of time, and they're going to set false expectations with you guys about how much work can be done in such a short amount of time. So, that's bad news because they got so much done. I mean, we got more work reducing the load times. We got a new lighting model in there that looks really cool, like all these little beams of light with motes and stuff like that, volumetric lighting. More side quests. In fact, that earn you the new cool virtue gear, the armors of truth, love, and courage. We did more story polish, more components, more cool, unique components that you can salvage off gear that you find. We're going to have B on later. He's going to talk about that. We got more audio polish and visual effects polish in, UI polish, including more assistance to help you find things in the world. Now, if you have an active task, scenes that you have those tasks in on the overworld will sparkle. There's going to be, and I know those of you want to play old school style, there is going to be an option to turn those off in the future. if you want to play old school. We got holiday items in the game, and the long-awaited tree and grass remover, also known as the lawnmower. And I would always do an amazing impression of a lawnmower.
That's exactly how it sounds.
It's exactly how it sounds, just like that.
If you go real old school, it's those motorless bladed, and it kind of makes a little sound as you.
It's just like that.
It's very nice, very peaceful. Actually.
Very peaceful sound. So peaceful. Anyway, I know.
Speaking of peaceful,
the
chat is actually very peaceful here. You can't see it, Star, but I'm gonna adjust this while you talk a little bit more, so we can see if there's any questions you guys have. You have questions for Star and for everybody else who's coming on the live stream later as we show off and talk about things. Ask them in chat, Discord, and Twitch.
And Barrick was saying its favorite time of year, and I was mentioning being a Scrooge or not being a Scrooge. It is the holiday season, and so this release is chock full of holiday goodies, all sorts of stockings and Yule trees and Yule wreaths and gift boxes and cards. This release, we have all the store versions, but next release, there's going to be a bunch of craftable versions in the game as well. So as you know, we're very committed to, while there are versions you can buy on the store, we always try to have craftable versions in the game as well, and those will be coming up in the next release. Also, I was joking about favorite time of year and my mustache, which again, it's still a little hard to see because it's coming in and I'm a little gray, but we can kind of see it. So we added a bunch of Movember items, a mustache helm and a mustache cloak, and some unique reliquaries that go in the bundles, the reliquary bundles from when I shaved off my mustache from last year. Those are in there now in those bundles. And but you can also buy the mustache helm and the mustache cloak and the mustache helm patterns individually. And we have a team, Mustache of the Avatar, that you can join or you can contribute to. We're raising money for mental health issues.
Merrick Dragon is saying, Barrick, you're breaking the rules. We don't see a mustache growing. That is true. I tried this last year and it was a real disaster. But I was thinking, maybe if I can do if there was a beard-o-vember or something, I could do a beard, I think. That looked cool.
You can exercise for it too,
Really?
Yeah, you can exercise. All right. Let's see what else. Oh, and another big change is about artifacts. So artifacts now can be enchanted and masterworked. What? You can't gem socket them, but you can enchant and masterwork them. But we also made it so you can't do minor repairs with them except by using artifact essences. But we're going to have a whole section of that later. Chris is coming in. He's going to talk about that. We're supporting our friends over at Bright Locker. These guys, actually, some of the founders of that company were my original network guys from Ultima Online back in the day. They built our first servers, our first authentication stuff, and they've started a new company. Think of it like Steam plus crowdfunding and open development all sort of mashed up into one kind of thing. We had made an extra Viking house that we didn't use, a smaller one than the one we used for our Seed and Best, and so we're letting them use that in their campaign along with, and so there's a bundle over there that you can buy with that. And we're selling, this is the last week of our Russian launch sales events, 35% off home deco and outdoor deco. Again, this is the deepest discounts we've ever done, and probably for a while. So if you want if there's some home decos you want, this is the time to get to them. And I see a question on the Twitch chat from Kron asking when are we going to get the missed questions. Actually, that's scrolled up already, but from the last telethon. So I'm sorry for the delay on getting the missed questions from the last telethon. We actually only have a few left that we're trying to get answers for. We hope to get that first thing next week. short release. We just didn't get time to get them, but we hope to get that answered. There was another question from Sir Langs. Is the Russian launch on a separate server together with us? They're together, all on one server. Our plan right now is one server worldwide for everybody. That's always been the plan. We have no intent on changing that. As soon as we plan on changing that, we will announce it, but there is no plan on changing that. All right, a couple other announcements, and then I want to hand it off to the next folks to do the deep dives about components and artifacts and virtue gear. All right, there is a party that the community is throwing for us on January 12th. There's a thread about it in the forums. Everyone is invited. It's open to everyone. So check that out. And we are doing we're not doing it, but we're contributing to a fundraiser for the Airy Fund. The Airy Fund is a not-for-profit volunteer group of players that raise funds for players in need and charities. And they've raised over almost $80,000 this year so far for either players in need or charities. They just organized the Extra Life Streamathon. They did the breast cancer, for Breast Cancer Month. They do a lot of really good work. So a bunch of us devs have been making some gear for that that they'll be auctioning off, and they've started posting some of that.
Yeah, and speaking of the items, you may see a lot of the cloaks for these initiatives that community members who participated in them are wearing in the game. There are cloaks from the Extra Life event. We've got the Breast Cancer Foundation Think Pink cloak as well. And so we help to support these initiatives and real life events through in-game items and other ways to show our appreciation for all the great work the community is doing.
Yep. And finally, again, short release, so feels like we just had a telethon, and yeah, that's true, but we're having another one. So our release 48 postmortem, because release 48 went out yesterday, and so December 1st is going to be the next postmortem, and it's again going to be ice themed. And so submit your questions, and we're going to bring back deep dives. So you guys have been giving us some feedback, and one of the things that's been requested is to start doing deep dives again. So we're going to have a couple of deep dives, one about combat, and then another one about economy. So join us for that and ask, and there you go. So without further ado,
why don't you go hunt down Chris? He's
all right.
Roaming the halls somewhere.
All right. B and Chris are going to talk about artifacts and components.
All right, B. Looking excited there. Dungeon Runners master shirt. Yeah, you've been working really hard on a lot of stuff and haven't been on the live stream in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
There's Chris. Hey. And there's a shirt I recognize. That is the, let's see if we can get that on camera. That is the combat sigil, I believe, right? There it is. That's actually available in game in many forms too. People have it. We were just talking about decorations and some of the decorations that people have been adding to their houses. A few things related to the sigil, by the way, and we mentioned that too. And they're teasing me right now because I don't have. Look at this.
He's growing too.
I don't have anything.
That's all. That's 2 weeks worth of growth for him.
Actually, it grows pretty fast. I can grow a serious beard. I can compete. I just choose not to.
This is 2 weeks for me, and this is 2 weeks for B.
Yeah, exactly.
That's impressive. All right, so a lot of Movember mentions. We talked about that, and so items. We went over the prizes. We're gonna give away some stuff, and let's do one of those right now, just to get the ball rolling. Let's give away Ice Nightmare Mask. We'll give away 2 of these. If you want a chance to win an Ice Nightmare Mask, type in Discord or Twitch !mask. We'll give that a few minutes to roll through. Meanwhile, a couple of other community news items. We had obviously release 48 that we mentioned, Star mentioned just a few minutes ago, go live this week. We have the R48 welcome quest. Usually the welcome quests have been like a week out from the release, but this one, I think partly because it's a short release as well, is this Saturday. November 18th at 2 o'clock Central Time or New Britannian Time in-game at Veritas Sanctuary. You can check it out, the details in the forums, in the community events forums. There's welcome quests every single month, and as the name would suggest, R48 welcome quest, and there's a whole bunch of fun activities around that. Also, the pirate ship, how do you say this, christening? Is that, you know, like when you...
Christening.
Yeah.
We'll go with christening.
Christening.
Yeah.
Christening.
Christening in, it sure looks like Christ to me, but christening in Dragomir Mori, player-owned town, I think, on Saturday, a few Saturdays from now, December 2nd, 3 to 5 p.m. So that's going to be a fun event. All these are in the forums if you want details. They're also in a community tab on the website, community events, and the calendar there. The Memento Mori Make a Difference Christmas parties. Now we're getting into Christmas parties. We were talking about our January 12th Christmas party here at Portalarium for anybody who is interested in attending. But this one is a community, well, that one's a community run too. But this one is a community run one on in-game on December 12th, I believe in Memento Mori, Player Town, at 6 to 8 o'clock. So we've got parties, we've got christenings, and all sorts of fun stuff, including a contest that we just announced this morning, the Avatar's Guide to Knowledge and Virtue, a video how-to walkthrough-ish kind of contest. So we've recognized a lot of the great videos in the community, trailers, how-to videos, just fun little, like, I'm walking through this scene today, and there's a lot of really great producers of videos out there and people who are passionate about, players who are passionate about what they do in the game, whether you're a crafter, combat, which is, you know, creating items in the economy and some of the stuff you guys will talk about with artifacts, enchanting artifacts, and all of that good stuff. There's a lot of information about this game on how to get started in these areas and how to play and how to win and how to lose. I guess you could have a how to lose. That'd be interesting. And we want you, the community, to come up with some of these videos. It's going to they're like, we have a limit of like 1.5 minutes to 2.5 minutes on these videos, very brief. And it's just a quick, like, here's a quick snap of how to do, however you can describe something in 2 minutes. We've got all the details of the contest on the forums and the main website, what recommended categories, how to create a video, some suggestions there, and most importantly, what you can win. So there's all of it there. Let me know if you have any questions, and that's going on now, and it's going to be running until January, what did I say it was? January 15th, I think, was the end of the contest. And so there's plenty of time to create a whole bunch of videos. You can create more than one if you want. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what you guys put together. One little note on that for any of you who happen to be eager to get started on that right away. There is one piece of the puzzle. Actually, it's not a puzzle, but it sounds good. One piece of the contest that's not in place yet. If you read through the whole contest, there's the slides on how to put together a video. You've got like the opening slide, and you seem really entranced, Chris, with the chat.
I'm reading the chat.
Okay, good. Let me know if they have any questions. All right, so there's like these scenes, you know, the beginning scene, and then the meat and potatoes of what you're describing, the how-to stuff, and then the end scene. We're providing the wrapper, the beginning and the end for you. We got the end. That's ready to go. The beginning, there's a few things that we want to just kind of like adjust there on the slide that we would provide you. So that's not quite available yet. Go ahead and start, you know, come up with a script, play the game, do all of that, start putting together your videos, and worry about that beginning slide next week when we provide it. All right, enough of that. Let's see, let's give another round in case they forgot what we were giving away. And then I'll let you guys roll into some stuff here. We're giving away at the moment an Ice Nightmare Mask, 2 of those. So type in exclamation mask if you want a chance to win one of those. What are we talking about today? Mr. Artifacts.
I guess we're talking about
Mr.
artifacts.
Enchanted Artifacts, right? I believe.
Yeah, so changes to artifacts and just artifacts in general and where they fall in. This is kind of our discussion all along about gear and games. We didn't want to make the game super gear heavy where it's all about I must get this gear so that I can then grind and grind and grind and then get tier 1 gear with get a raiding guild together and we go do the exact same instance 97 times. And then with that tier 1 gear, now we can get tier 2 gear. And then with grinding and grinding and grinding, we can finally get them and like we want to not have that whole progression.
I think also it's the case since we don't have stat requirements. You know, you can pretty much use an item. There's nothing sort of preventing you from using an item other than the acquisition of it. You know, so that sort of goes into it too, as far as the progression.
Yeah, so we're looking. We knew everything in the game was going to be heavy on the crafting side of things. That's really important to us. That's a big part of the game is making sure crafters are happy, and that you can kind of play as a third of the community is crafters. In reality, it's really a lot of people craft on the side to craft their own gear.
Speaking of which,
but they're still.
Speaking of which, your craft, I think you both are crafting. Did we mention this? I was half paying attention. I was looking at the chat. Okay, you want to mention it?
I will as soon as I get done with my train of thought that you just interrupted.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, go for
it. But anyways, we wanted to have something that felt different from the crafted stuff where it's purely in the player's hands. And so artifacts were the stab at that and also just add some interest to the game. Interesting items that are kind of like have unique abilities, don't really fit into any category. And those are just all things that I just started inserting into the game as very rare drops. A lot of them have become popular. But the general idea behind them is almost always they are some cool benefit and then some not so cool disadvantage of thing. Originally, they were kind of a net zero sum. They weren't even like, forget about comparing them to crafted items. They weren't even as good as just some normal items if you weighed in the bad side of things. But as we've moved along, they've got a little more powerful so that they kind of compete with low-end crafting if you look at the absolute stats on them. So this release is, after talking about it, we actually are doing something different, which is, the whole point of not making artifacts the coolest, most awesome things in the game was we didn't want to, stomp on the crafters and make it so crafters couldn't compete. So after talking about it, one of the things we realized was we can still have crafters competing and have artifacts that they can enchant because those things don't enchant themselves, and that's actually one of the things. Basically, the only step is that you replace it is instead of you craft this crappy +0 sword that you could craft 100 of in an hour, there's no challenge crafting it. A level 0 person could go craft one of these. It takes no skill at all. Like that's the only step that's replaced. Instead of having that, we let you start with an artifact, and all that work from there on out is the hard part. Where you spend tons and tons of resources, quite often break multiple versions before you get what you want, and then end up. So really all we're replacing by letting artifacts being enchanted masterworked is replacing that initial step where you make the initial thing. So something that we do realize that is different about that, that goes beyond the whole, I can claim this as mine, I enchanted it, but it doesn't have any type of tags on it. That's one of those things also. Like someone could craft a sword, and then this other guy does the hard work and gets it to a +13 sword or something. It still has the name of the first guy on it. Sure. It's kind of the same problem with artifacts. Is the artifact starts with no name, so nobody made it, and then you can't tell really who it enchanted. And that is one of those things. Is it's kind of a trophy thing to have people out there using your gear and them knowing that you made it. So that is something we'll look at how to best fix it, whether that is whoever put the last enchant on something gets the name on the item, or maybe there's an extra field that is, enhanced by blah.
Yeah, it's just that, if you thought our tooltips were bigger before.
Yeah.
Hold down control.
Yeah.
Well, as I understand it, you can get, there's a thing called ancient essences that you can get that are salvaged from other artifacts to this is kind of your thing, I suppose.
Yeah, it's both of us.
Yeah, this. So that's the change that went in this release. Is we continue to try to. Right now, artifact drop rates are crazy rares. I see people saying that they work for 12 hours on an area, then use high in artifacts, and they got like 1 drop. So right now they're crazy rare. That is intentional. We want to be able to turn that up a little bit, and also keep pushing artifacts through the economy, and also add a value to the lesser artifacts, because there's some semi-junk artifacts that drop. In fact, a lot of the artifacts that drop are semi-junk or very limited use, and we wanted to give those some extra value. So we basically did all of that by making it so artifacts can't be repaired by normal means. They basically can only be repaired by taking an artifact, breaking it down to get the essence out of it, and then using that on the new art or on the damaged artifact.
We're getting reports. This just in. A devastating instability earthquake to Discord, not a real one. Don't want to scare anybody. To Discord. There's some problems with Discord right now. It's going. Some people can't access it. Sometimes it's accessible. So if you're in Discord chat, well, if you're in, you're fine. Otherwise, jump into Twitch. Tell your friends to jump into Twitch, which we're taking questions and giving away prizes on both of them right now. Speaking of which, let's give away those 2 Ice Nightmare masks. Congrats to Emmy Lou and Akinma for winning one of those. Please message Barrick in Discord if you can, your account name and what you won. And if you're in Twitch, Shroud of the Avatar, message that name and what you won, and we'll get those to you as soon as we can. Let's roll into another prize here. We got a whole bunch today. Let's give away, sleighs and sleds that were created are really cool. I don't know if you've seen like all the screenshots and items and work around it. Yeah, it's just amazing. All the we were talking about this with Star earlier on some of the items that we showed actually on the live stream last week, which is now on YouTube, by the way, guys. We put that up just a little bit ago. YouTube.com/Portalarian for all of the archived live streams. If you want to see, what did Chris look like a few weeks ago? It's on YouTube. So let's give away your choice. 2 of these. Ornate sleigh or an ornate sled. Are you a sleigh kind of person or are you a sled kind of person? Let us know. Type !ornate, ORNATE in Discord or Twitch, and we'll give that a few minutes to see who wins.
I did want to tell a story. I do talk
story
about my daughter entirely too much on live air when we have limited time.
Sure. But how's she doing?
So I'm supposed to shave off this beard part here, which doesn't show up that well on camera, but is actually pretty noticeable. But my daughter has never seen me with a beard before and never noticed me with a beard or mustache before, and she absolutely loves it. In fact, I told her the other day, I was driving home talking to the wife on the phone in the car, and told her, yeah, I got to shave off the beard thing so that because it's the mustache of the avatar, it's not, it's not goatee of the avatar or anything. And I told her, yeah, so I got to shave that off. I'm sorry, it's going to look crummy. It'll probably be crummy at Thanksgiving, which she really hates. But Maxine, my daughter, started screaming for the vaccine. No, Daddy, no, I love your beard. Don't get rid of it. So this morning on the way to school, I came up with a solution, which is I told Maxine I had to shave it off. And she said, no, Daddy, I love your beard. And actually, she's been saying, I want to grow a beard. So I had the solution for it, which was I told her this morning that I was going to shave it off and put it in a plastic bag for her. Hey. And then she can have a beard.
There you go.
And she thought that was a great idea.
Wow.
Oh, to be 3.
Well, there you are. Thanks for
tuning. Go give to my Movember fund.
And that's the live stream. Thanks, guys, for coming on by. You can go now. I'm just kidding.
We'll put it on the add-on store afterwards.
Oh, yeah. I'll put what is it,
$5.
the reliquary, the follicular
exactly.
reliquary or whatever.
Yeah, I thought you didn't want those around anymore. Didn't we sell the last one?
Did we?
I thought so. I might be mistaken.
So,
Isn't it around somewhere?
Sure
it's in a corner somewhere. Otherwise.
But anyways, artifacts, again, unique, different. They, in our opinion, do not really compete directly with crafters because really they're not as good as crafted items, but you can enchant them. And guess what? The crafters are the one to enhance them. If you're daring enough, because of course then it's not like you craft 100 swords and then you try to improve them and you get 80 of them to +3 and then you get 40 of them to +5 and then you get 20 of them to +7 with an artifact that's you farm for 12 hours to get 1 or 2 of them and then you get now we got to try those. How many levels you gonna go? So the enchanted ones will be extra rare.
Well, let's backtrack for a moment here. I saw a question before my phone turned off. They asked, how do you know it's an artifact? That's just a good question for new players.
So honestly, the artifact thing just kind of evolved in parallel with the existing items. It was not super well thought out, but we wanted to add some interest to the loot, and just knowing how things work, like adding crafting stuff and enhancing the crafting system's tough, and there's a lot of systems, whereas this was just, it was easy to go and like add. When I come up with a cool idea for a thing, let me pull open my Dungeon Master's Guide and look at the magic items in there or something. I didn't do that. I thought about doing that. But look at those and then come up and then just set stats on the things. So doing that was easy. I forget where I was going down this route. I forgot what my point was.
Well, the question was describing artifacts and how you identify it.
Yeah, I was just talking about, So they kind of evolved separately. We have not fully flushed them out. We need to do more in terms of making them more unique in terms of how they behave. But actually now they're taking on some of the attributes of normal crafting gear, because you can enchant them in masterwork.
Somebody, I bet you one person here is watching right now, doesn't have the game yet, and is wondering, what the hell is Chris talking about here? Describe it for me in pictograms. If you could, well, don't do that. But just if you could describe, like, is there a color of the item or a word of the item that when I see it, it's like, oh, it says artifact.
Yes, I added that to the tooltip.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's on the tooltip it says artifact.
So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I added that
Hey, thanks,
specifically.
Pete.
Yeah, I sort of added the flag that we can tag stuff, independently, because previously we were calling stuff artifacts just because of where they were in kind of the assets, and so it wasn't really defined what an artifact was. So as we start to formalize that and start to have these different behaviors, like as far as repair mechanics and things like that, then it became necessary to have a way to call those out specifically. So we have a specific flag that whenever we flip, then it shows up on the tooltip, and then we look at that flag for all the other stuff that, unique abilities of artifacts. So certainly that became obvious as we started to get these things in there that, it's not just, a lot of times there are flags on items that are hidden from the players that we use that sort of don't show up in the tooltip, but I've been doing some work to kind of make sure that that data bubbles up to the players, because honestly, if we have flags on items that the players can't see, but we still change the behavior of it, it tends to be buggy unless we kind of elevate that flag, because if players can't see it, they can't put in bugs on it, then we can't fix stuff related to that. So certainly as we move forward, I try hard to make sure that if there is any attribute of an item that means that it has certain behaviors, that shows up in the tooltip. So.
Nice. Well, before we move on, we actually have two winners here for the sleigh or sled. By the way, for an explanation, the sleigh is something you can sit in. The sled is like more of a flat, not as ornate, if you will, although still ornate. A sleigh is what Santa would use. A sled is what he would not. So there you go. Congrats to Engineer Sota, and love the name, by the way, and Mac, M-A-C, Mac. I'm getting hungry. I could use a Big Mac right now, actually. We'll get that after this.
I did see a question go by that I should answer,
yeah.
Which is people are asking about the troll belt, which is an artifact I added last time that has to be crafted from a couple of different pieces.
And
they're wondering how to craft it.
Oh.
There's actually a recipe. It didn't drop in the game. I'm sorry, I forgot to add the recipe, but you got the parts. They're not going bad. The recipe is now out there. I've added it to at least to supply bundles. It will be a rare drop in some supply bundles. It's actually not that rare in I think the yellow ones and higher.
There you go.
Anyways, so sorry. There is one player I think that has the recipe because once I discovered that I made the recipe and didn't add it to any loot bundles, somebody was screaming at me. So if you want to go harass him, his name is Skyo, S-K-Y-O.
There it is, right there.
Skyo.
Yep.
Is he on there?
Yeah. Just someone knew his name.
Yeah. So go get Skyo, and Skyo will craft one for you. For those who are wondering what the belt is, the belt of the troll is it's a couple pieces that you put together, but makes a belt that increases your aggro capability. This was the result of me doing a lot of testing, and it's really hard to hold aggro as a tank and be a good tank, which kind of defines a good tank is whether, one, obviously stay alive, and then two is can you hold aggro while other people are doing their, not having to think about how they fight so that they don't pull aggro off of you. but it actually makes that significantly easier. I did quite a bit of testing with it, and it was rare that I couldn't hold aggro.
Kinma says 33% aggro.
Yeah, so it gives 33% extra aggro. I may end up turning that up, but in the parties I've been in, playing without cheating, well, I cheat a little bit, but not cheating with my stats or my gear or anything. I'll usually resurrect myself. For those people who have played with me know, as I get killed a lot and I resurrect myself. So cheating a little bit, not too much though. But anyways, I was able to hold aggro even from silly archer types doing the rapid shots and all the other stuff.
Yeah, we got people fascinated with the belt now. It gives a ring of, I don't know if that makes sense, -30. I don't know.
But someone was asking for items to reduce aggro, and someone mentioned an item that reduces aggro.
I actually have some. This is also my sad story for today. I have my notes on a paper towel. I forgot my phone. I feel disoriented and confused and naked when I do not have my phone with me.
Where is your phone?
I left it at home.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Don't think I've done that probably in a year. But anyways, I actually went and I've got spoilers. I promised spoilers. So I will be telling people where some cool items drop.
Spoiler alert.
There is somebody calls it that ring of the mouse, decreases aggro by 33%. I think the ring of the mouse drops mostly. There's not a special thing that drops it. It really drops out of supply bundles fairly rarely.
Wait.
Rarely.
It doesn't drop from a mouse?
We don't have a mouse.
That's not my problem.
So anyways, I'll call out a few more that these are rare. I'm not sure if anybody's figured out where some of these drop from. There's a crossbow of accuracy, which is actually the weapon I'm using right now if people duel me, which is giving ideas. I try to do things unique and interesting to make them feel different. The crossbow of accuracy is basically a normal damage crossbow, but it has if you don't auto attack, if you free attack, you can charge up your weapon. So the crossbow goes not to like 6 where a normal one might go, but goes to 12. So you basically can spend a lot of time charging it up and then shoot it. So it's good for two things. It's good for starting the combat. Like after that, it's not any more damage than other weapon, not normal crossbow. But for the starting, so it's a crossbow of accuracy is what the name of it. But it's good for PvP, one, because like you ambush someone, you start with, fully loaded crossbow from behind, get a crit for 600 points of damage. It's a pretty good way to start a PvP fight. But it's also good for the guys who are pulling, like you're running from one, imagine running from one camp to another. Like your first shot as you're running up between them, shooting. Oh, and right now I should point out that there's a bug in charging the attacks and charged attacks for free combat. That interrupts it. So if you're using skill, it interrupts it. So it's hard to charge right now, which I was just in the game playing and cursing and screaming. That should be fixed in the patch that will be out shortly.
You see what's happening here? They're asking for a mouse now.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. It will be on the list.
Well,
Is it on the list?
Everything's on the list. Trust me. The list is very long. Someone asked who's involved with making artifacts. Chris makes them and I fix them. Basically, that's the way that works.
That's exactly right.
Well, you make them, you fix them, and I have noted down here. We talked about this a little bit, but I don't know, B, if you want to go into it a little more. I love searching for stuff. I love finding things, harvesting things, and crafting them, or crafting something out of them, and salvaging, items as well from previous broken elements or whatever is fun too. So you do. There were some things added in this release. More abilities to salvage components. Is that right?
Yeah. So basically, the way it works, like Chris mentioned, your artifacts parallel with crafting items as far as where you can enchant them and masterwork them after that. But the base creation of a crafted item involves components. Now you can create those components through crafting. Like for example, if you make a longsword, it's got the longsword blade with the hilt. So you can make like an iron longsword blade that you use to make an iron sword. But what we started to do is to have certain creatures drop weapons that have components inside of them, or that have components built into them that are unique that you can't craft. So the only way you can acquire these is by salvaging the item, and then when you salvage the item, you have a chance to get one of those components back. So really, we look at items as an extension of a loot bundle. Like effectively, there are some items, like, perhaps there's a pattern in some of them, or these certain components that are effectively hidden inside of the item. So when you salvage it, it's basically like a loot roll for you to get something out of it.
Okay,
Now,
so I won't know until I actually what do you call the process again? Break apart the item, salvage the item, and then I may know roughly what I might get.
If there is a component in the tooltip, then it has a chance to drop. So, for example, like on Torquedaw, there's a couple weapons that drop on him that have unique components that we added. So really getting the weapon to drop with a component is the first difficulty, and the second difficulty is getting that component out of the item. Now you can just use that base item, like you can just use Torquedaw's weapon, but the idea is that if you get the right one and salvage it, that there's, for example, there's some unique handles that that weapon has that then you can take and then build a separate weapon with it. So those components funnel back in the crafting system. And we'll definitely do more of those, because the idea is that we want these weapons to drop, them to at least have some use in the game, but really the advanced person is trying to break these things down to get the things inside of them to reforge it into a different weapon that is potentially more powerful than the other one.
So there's a lot of opportunity for players to, well, I'm not experienced enough, or I don't want to salvage something. I'll put it on my vendor in the town and sell it.
Sure. I mean, it at least adds more value to it, because effectively it's like there's loot that's hidden inside of it, that it's potential, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like effectively like a loot crate or a loot box in a way, is the fact that when you decide to salvage it, then you're trying to roll the dice to see if you can get these certain unique elements out of it. And that's the thing is, once those elements are, the only way to acquire them is through these weapons, that's when they become really valuable.
And what is the skill for maximizing your chance to get the best possible scenario or best possible items out of that?
Yeah, in each, you salvage items associated with the skill associated with repairing them, right? So, your leather and cloth armor is salvaged at the tailoring table. Metal armor and some swords, bladed weapons is at blacksmithing, and then your bludgeoning weapons, bows, and pole arms is at the carpenter table. So the same table you repair them at, the same table you masterwork them at, it's the same table you salvage them at. And then as your salvage skill goes up, then you have a greater chance of getting some of these components to drop. So it's really just trying to set this secondary loot path, sort of component drop path up through the actual breaking down of the weapons, right?
Very nice. Well, let's.
I have one thing I want to jump in. This is Bzus, by the way. There are people who are saying, "Who is that guy? I see him occasionally. I don't know what he does." So B is, as he mentioned, he's the guy that fixes a lot of the mistakes I make as I jump around from thing to thing to thing to thing. In fact, I am pretty sure my record is about 0-10 for adding new skills to the game and remembering to put them on a trainer. And so people always read like, "Hey, there's a new skill in the game. Where do I find it?" Patch 1B added it for me because I forgot about it. But also to almost all the crafting stuff is B, and tons of other stuff like new creature hookups. So he's actually one of the guys. This is another a little topic I want to go on. He's actually one of the guys that when we do our telethon, long hangout, whatever we call them these days. I mentioned that we have some people like, there's, this needs to get done, that needs to get done, but we've got a bottleneck. Yeah. B is one of the guys I call out as the bottleneck. I think I called out Astarte, and I think I've called out Wizard Smoke as bottlenecks. Yeah. So I actually saw a post in the forums I had to jump on because, and I guess this is true for a lot of people, they were taking that as a negative thing of like, you're the bottleneck, you're the problem. So if you're in a government job and you're the bottleneck, it probably means you're crappy at your job. Here at a small startup where it is like people here don't last if they are not absolute top-notch performers. At this company, if you're a bottleneck and we call you out as a bottleneck in one of those things, it's because you're indispensable and no one else can do your job. So that is one of those things. B's one of those guys that is a bottleneck, but that is a compliment, not a bad thing.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of things where, once you've done kind of game development and definitely are kind of processed long enough, you just can't get beaten down by having unlimited amounts of work. You just have to kind of roll with it, get as much stuff as you can do, be able to prioritize stuff. And certainly there's things like, more recipes for rugs that, people have been asking for 6 or 8 months. And work on every once in a while, but just other stuff gets kind of put on top of it. So, I think we got a pretty good process for addressing the stuff that the game needs the most. So a lot of times that's really kind of what me and Chris focus on is, what are the areas of the game that are suffering most? And that's why we've done a lot of focus on loot lately, because there's a lot of kind of untapped potential that we have. We've developed the systems, everything, most of the bugs are out of things, so we're not worried about extending it. It's more about, us spending time to focus on it. And I think that's the great thing about our game is that since we've been doing Unity and the way we've been developing stuff, it's real flexible. There's lots of stuff we can do. It's not necessarily what can we do, it's what should we do, because we can do, almost unlimited amount of work, but it's really prioritizing it and figuring out, what we're going to do to kind of address the kind of current issues that we think are most important. So
we're certainly doing that every day. Is every morning stand up, every meeting I hear, we are considering, well, can we do this? Does this make sense? Is there enough time, etc.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Basically it all boils down to one calculation: how much fun is it going to add to how many players in the game? For how much time does it cost us? And we try to maximize that calculation to make sure we're hitting stuff that's going to add fun to the game for a lot of players for not a lot of work. We occasionally have people who are like talking about some things like complaining about the mail system really needs some polish, and it's like, okay, yes, there are a lot of people who use that, but it works as expected now, but it is a lot of work to make a change to that type of system. Whereas other things, like we can go and add with a little work, we can add something that adds a lot of fun to a ton of players.
Yeah, certainly bang for buck is, the word all the time that, we use, or at least, that's kind of the philosophy for getting things done. It's, there are some things that we really want to do that are difficult, but it's, you'd rather do 3 things that are easy that help the game than, 1 that's difficult. So certainly it's a lot of prioritization, when it kind of comes to that.
Speaking of prioritization, we are out of time, guys.
Hold on, I got some more spoilers.
Do you? Okay, let's go through those quick, and then we're going to bring on Fletcher to show some items.
So there's a swashless of the cut burger.
Okay.
Cutlass of the swashburger. We don't drink on these, by the way. Cutlass of the swashbuckler. That is that's a weapon that drops. I forget the specifics of it. I think it actually might help your pickpocket, and I forget what else. It may help some other things. But the prime place for those to drop, clockwork monkey, boss mob types. So the higher level clockwork monkeys, if you haven't figured that one out yet.
They want to know where the crossbow drops, I guess. Did you say?
The crossbow, I don't know if I did say. So the crossbow of accuracy, let me read my paper towel here. Crossbow of accuracy, control point, kobolds, the high tier ones, so the later kobolds.
Those are really difficult.
Yeah, they're tough, and so those guys actually drop. And all these, I put a little thought into them, trying to figure out like what makes sense. We will be in the future. We'll be getting more named boss type stuff and named creatures that have more unique aspects to them, and we'll start making sure those guys have some unique drops of their own. But these guys really more trying to match up new artifacts with existing stuff. So that's why those ended up on the crossbows, because they're like high tech and crossbow feels techy. So those are the ranged guys. Sword of Speed is another cool artifact that went in. I've seen a few of them drop already and a few people talking about it. It actually gives you the only thing, it's kind of a normal sword stat, but of course it can be enchanted masterworked. But it gives you on double slash, it gives you an extra slash. So basically double slash turns into triple slash is a special thing in it, which is a big deal for sword guys and their DPS. That drops, there's a couple places, the Ghost Scorpion and also the Elf Captain in the Rise. That is a guy there's a room with a bunch of dogs in the bottom. There's an exit to that on the top where there's one mean elf there. I think I might have noticed last time that his name wasn't showing up correctly and just showed as like elf, looked like everyone else, except that he's much tougher than the other guys. But anyways, he will drop that. The Halberd of the Sun is, I think most people already figured that out, that it's a higher drop rate on the Phoenix. That's all I wrote down before I came in here. My paper towel ran out of room.
Well, thank you for the spoiler. Spoiler alert, everybody. This show is always a spoiler alert. I don't know what that means, but I need somebody to go fetch me Fletcher.
Okay, I'll go
Guys,
fetch the Fletch.
All right.
Thank you, and also just on the current state of the release, we introduced some new crash bugs. We believe some of those will be going away shortly.
We introduced them purposely?
There's a couple of features in Unity that we always try to turn on because it adds a little bit to performance for some people, and then every release we end up by about patch 1 or 2, we see the crash rate has gone up, and we end up turning them off. So this release we forgot to turn it off until I just looked at the crash rate this morning. I was like, oh god, triple the crash rate right now. There's also an issue with entering into a scene where basically you just lock up, or exiting a scene, you lock up.
That happened at the dance party.
So that is actually, there's a nasty error spam going on. We may have a fix for that in this patch that's going out right now, but I'm not entirely sure. If not, that'll probably wait until Monday to get a fix. So hopefully, remember in the old days, the load times were really long. And you could have exited the game, come back in and connected again. So you can do that now, and it's just like playing in the old days. It's the same amount of time to restart the game and get back. All right. Anyways, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But we will be trying to get that fixed for the, hopefully, if not in this release, if it still shows up, we'll try to get that fixed for the Monday release.
All right, good to know. Yep, more, patch, right? Monday patch.
Yeah, Monday patch.
Okay.
And thanks to everybody. Thanks for all the support, and looking forward to seeing you in the mini telethon,
Next
hangout,
telethon,
whatever
we have a short week next week because of Thanksgiving holiday, and then the week after that, December 1st, yes, on a Friday. Thank God for Fridays. On a Friday, which is today, Friday. This is why I'm so excited. If it doesn't show on my face, I'm excited. Friday, December 1st is our next telethon for this release. It's gonna be fun.
See you then.
All right, let's
Good luck, Fletch. We're warming them up for you.
You, the mouse, you're gonna fire up Unity, right?
Okay.
Well, actually, I did the work for you. Unity, I don't know if it's updated to what you need, but you'll do what you have to do there, and I think they can still see me. We're covering the screen, should be okay. Fletcher is going to fire up some really cool things we're going to show. We only have a few minutes left, but just a couple of, the highlights.
Okay, yeah.
While I give away our last prize here, and remember we have Twitter available. Twitter available. We have a prize available on Twitter. We don't own Twitter. That'd be cool.
We can sell Twitter.
Yeah, we have. So if you're for this hour only, for while this live stream is going on. If you tweet Shroud of Avatar, at Shroud of Avatar, actually it's, which way am I going? Yeah, at Shroud of Avatar, no the, because Twitter only has 15 characters. I have to explain this every time. 15 characters, and there's no room for, there's 1 character too many of Shroud of the Avatar. So we just took out the. Anyway, that's on Twitter. Or hashtag LBSOTA, which stands for Lord British Shroud of the Avatar. And that will let us know, hey, you watched this live stream, say something, nice and cool about it. And bonus now anyway, because now you have twice as many Twitter characters. If you're not a heavy Twitter user, there was 3 weeks ago or something where they went from 140 characters, which is, you got to work with that, to 280 characters, which is like a book. So way too many characters in my opinion now. They should have done 190 or 60 or something like that. Anyway, lots of characters for you to say stuff to let us know that you watched the live stream. We're giving away to a random person who does that this hour a 2017 Yule gift set. The Yule gift set has cards, like holiday kind of cards you can give people in the game, and you can actually sign it in the game. You press a button to sign it, type some stuff in there, and then you can give it to whoever. You get 5 of those. Gift boxes, so you get a 3-pack, I think it is, of gift boxes, and these are all things Scotty created, and the stockings. So you can hang those on wherever in your house. So those are decorative items. That's on Twitter, so do that now, guys. And meanwhile, we'll give away the last item here on the live stream, the 2017 Yule card. Yeah, 2017. I was afraid I already gave this away. 2017 Yule card 5-pack. So we're giving the cards on the live stream. Type exclamation if you're on Discord or Twitch. Type exclamation card, C-A-R-D. We'll give that a few minutes to work, and good luck to those winners. As a reminder, for the previous winners, the Ice Nightmare masks, we gave away 2 of those. went to
Okay.
Emmy Lou and Akinma, and the Slayer sled of your choice went to Engineer Soda and Mac. How are we looking on Unity here?
Hang on. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna show screenshots.
Sure.
Oh, yay. Okay,
yeah.
let's let me. There's a little fancy dancy way. I did not anticipate screenshots, but that's okay. We are going to make this work. First of all, we're gonna get our faces off the screen here. If I can find them. There we are. There we are. They're like, what is going on here? Okay, I promised them a smooth line, or streamlined live stream today, and we're getting there. So we're gonna add. No, this is all good. We're gonna add some screenshots, and I haven't seen the screenshots, so I don't know what we're about to see here, but it's gonna be awesome, I bet. Where's our screenshots? Can you bring up? Let's bring up one, like this one, right?
Yeah.
That one good? Okay. Ooh, that's cool. I like this. This looks good.
So yeah.
Hold on a second. They have not seen it yet. I'm teasing them. They can't see anything but us at the moment here until I get this actually to work. Whoops, I almost deleted us, but that's okay. I didn't do that. All right. Window capture. I'm going to add that. Aha. There it is. There it is. All right. You guys can see this now. Let me do a little adjustment. I'm going to make it as big as I can here so you can get to see the central image. There we go. And all right, that will have to do. Voila. Let me actually back this out to here so we get a nice little border. Let me do it. Let me actually, you know what? Hold on. This is what I was afraid of. Because they want to see us a little bit, so let's just do that. What are we looking at here, Fletcher? You can bring it down here if you want.
Wait, to the bottom screen?
The left window, not that one, the other one. Yeah.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, there
We
you
can
go.
bring it down to
Yeah,
the
if you
bottom
want to, easier to see, and you can still see what we're showing there.
Okay. As a lot of you guys know, we're coming up on our winter telethon, so we have been tasked to create winter-themed items.
This guy looks like he's dressed in, I think, a hospital gown too. Is that right?
Yeah, we recently came out with that, I believe.
So it's a little bit of a mix here. In case you guys didn't know, we have Make a Difference store where we are adding a variety of other items to the game too. Some crap. Don't do that because then it screws up on the screen.
Sorry.
Yeah, so just leave it in window. There's a gown that is a hospital-related charity item, and so this guy, actually is kind of an interesting choice, a different style.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to. I don't know if you want to go to a party. Yeah, you definitely want to go to a party with that sort of thing on, with the wings and the. It completes the set. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about your own items.
Well, I mean, these were pretty simple to do. Basically, we wanted to match the aesthetic of the ice wings. The concept process for these was not like quite as sophisticated as others. We just wanted to make let's make a really cool bow made out of ice. It took me a while to settle on the right kind of specularity and the effect of the light reflecting off of the surface.
Is the what do you call the bow string? I guess. Is that ice as well?
Yes.
Interesting.
And that's kind of the whole interesting thing about this bow is because it's made of solid ice. So we just kind of rationalize it as it's magic ice.
Exactly.
So it can flex and bend like a real bow.
Ice can bend too, sort of.
Yeah, sort of. It'll probably crackle a little.
Yeah, maybe.
As it does.
All right, what else do we got here?
We got ice staff.
Now this is definitely a party outfit.
Yeah, definitely. So we got us a magical staff, which is just like the ice bow, but it's a staff with a little blue crystal on the end there. So yeah, that's going to be a nice little item. And then I also have concept for the completion of the robe of truth. Is there a way to shift that on screen so they can see the head?
They can almost see if you can. Can you make it smaller, like the? Yeah,
no.
Yeah, the other one. Yeah.
Nah, I can't.
Well, they can almost see it. There's a little bit of a hood top there,
Yeah.
if you guys can imagine it.
Yeah, and that's already in game. So yeah, we got the robes of truth here. And as you guys probably know, hang on, we have completed the armors of courage and the armor of love.
I believe so. Yeah, we have some of the one thing we didn't mention. We have the weekly update that's out now on the website. It'll go out on social shortly. But there's some items that I think you created, Fletcher. Some of the stuff you're talking about. Recent weekly updates have included virtue item ones that you're mentioning for sure. So just look back at today's and last week's for sure. Can you toggle the audio to
Where?
hit escape? Again.
Oh, you mean?
Yeah, just wiggle it a little. The master, just a little wiggle. Yeah, there. That's fine.
Okay, cool.
All right,
okay.
so we want to show this to everybody.
Yeah.
All right, let me throw this up on the screen. So we're gonna move all the screenshots are shown. We're done with
Yeah,
those?
yeah.
Okay, so there's some screenshot guys, and now we're gonna move over real quick back to Unity, and I think I have this one actually working properly. There it is. All right.
All right. Where'd my mouse go? Okay. So armor of courage. I'm trying to find all of the different pieces.
Now
to
we're in, what is this called? Developer Hub, right?
Yeah,
This-
it's
just for, so you guys know, this is an area for our ability to spawn items, test items, show off them, like for you guys, for example. A very easy, quick way to do it. We're in Unity right now too, so this is why you know, we can't show some stuff, some of this really cool, super secret stuff. Well, it's not some of it's not secret, but some of it's really amazing things that we're still developing in Unity only sometimes because
Yeah.
it's not in the game yet.
Yeah, exactly. So here is the full set of armor of courage. So this is based off of. Hang on, let me try to. So this is based off of like 15th, 16th century Helmschmied German armor. It's kind of the very typical look of the medieval knight. And so we've got greaves and pauldrons and the full set. But it's themed after the armor or the symbol of courage with a little bell in there. It likes to jerk around.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, most of you have seen the chest plate, but the legs are a new addition, as are the gauntlets. But yeah, so like I said, this is themed after the armor of courage. So each piece features the little bell of courage on it, and that's going to be kind of the way the other two armors are designed.
I love how it's in various strategic areas. Like you have it on the thigh, you have it on the chest plate. I believe the back of the back of the boots, the back of the chest plate as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Show the back. I'm curious. Go up and show the helm in the back. See, it's on the. Is it on the back of there? Oh, it's not. I thought I saw one that had one in piece. Oh, you know what? I think it was a shield. No. It was a back plate that looked like a shield. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Not sure.
Okay, it's in the weekly update anyway.
But yeah, so that's it. And I also kind of like how this helmet is conveniently shaped like a bell a little bit.
I did not notice that until now. Yeah, that's neat.
It's all
That is really sweet.
Okay.
All right, what else do we got? Let's show like one or two more.
The rich Corinthian leather armor of love. So Portalarium, inventory, add item.
So you spawn these items as they're in the inventory. You spawn them, and then you can use them on your character here that we're seeing. Well, we have while we're waiting to spawn these extra items here to show you guys, we are giving away the last items of the day, the 2017 Yule Card 5-pack. We're giving away 2 sets of those. One last chance to win those by typing !card. Now, is this something? Oh yeah. So we took screenshots of this and showed people in the weekly update. Are these in the game now?
I believe so. I'm not entirely certain.
I'm pretty sure we put them in the game.
Okay. But yeah, this was really interesting because the way 3D modeling works, every piece of the 3D model has to occupy a certain space on a texture map. But the problem is when you have faces in the 3D model overlapping the same area of the texture map where you got the symbol, it can be kind of tricky. So, for example, with these boots, or these legs, they are mirrored. So the geometry is mirrored, but the symbol still has to flow in the same direction. So getting that candle to point, left to right rather than right to left was a little bit of a technical
Oh, yeah,
trick.
I see. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to say about it. It's just,
There you go.
very typical medieval leather armor. But yeah, it's
No, it
definitely
looks really, it's beautiful. It's really great, and
Yeah.
I think it looks
it's
amazing.
It's definitely not based on any historical thing. So with this one, I kind of went a little more fantasy and more abstract. But yeah, it works, and hope you guys like it.
So these are done now.
Mhm.
You guys can get these in the game. And what's next on your plate? You don't have to show us, but like, what are you working on right now for R49?
Well, for R49, I'm mainly working on the ice
And
weapons.
if there's no spoiler alerts here, of course.
Well, everything I've just shown pretty much is what I'm
Spoiler
working on.
alerts. All right, there you go. Okay.
So yeah, basically, I got to finish up the robes of truth and the winter weapons.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's maybe something for another live stream coming up in maybe a few weeks here before the end of the year, which is fast approaching.
Mhm.
We'll get Fletcher back on this live stream. I am going to flip back over to our full camera here. Really appreciate you, Fletcher, being on and showing us these screenshots, showing us everything on Unity, and really, really appreciate all the dev blogs that you create too. So you write about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
Screenshots that you show in the weekly updates, and there's a lot of things. This weekly update that we've put out on some items and a few things about the telethon items that we would be working on too for the I-47 telethon, creating those items, getting them ready, but also just these general items in the game. And last week's update had even more. So if you guys are checking out this week's update, go back to last week's too to see some of these items that we just showed on the live stream. Appreciate you guys watching this Fridays. Stay tuned, not next week, but the week after. We've got the R48 Postmortem Telethon on December 1st. It's going to be fun. It's going to be our last telethon this year for the end of the year. And we're going to get, I don't know if you're going to be on, Fletcher, but we're going to have some world builders on talking about some things in deep dives, a little bit of a different structure, kind of going back to the 12-hour, although it's not 12 hours, it's still 4 hours, structure of these telethons, make them a little more meat and potatoes of what we're showing. So we're really excited about that. The announcement's out, and we're working on the back end, the internal, like what we are preparing for that, including prize giveaways and all the other fun stuff you've come to expect from those events. Now, before I forget, like I did last week, I actually did this. I said, oh, hey, we're giving away one more prize here. And we got into talking about something. And guess what I did? I ended the live stream. But don't worry, I didn't do that this time. The cards that we just gave away are going to, congrats, Tilla Tenderfoot and John Fenwick for winning a 5-pack of those cards. You can write custom messages in the cards, send them to anybody else in the game. They're really fun to have, and similar to the Valentine's cards. If you happen to have seen those in the game earlier this year, we created some Valentine's cards for everybody. Yeah. And that's our prizes. We'll give away the Twitter prize in a moment after this live stream. You'll see the message of your account name if you win, so it'll go directly to you. And I think we're definitely out of time. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.